Hello everyone, back to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. So, day 10 is going to take us to the 31st of December, New Year's Eve actually. Can you believe that? And we shall excel beyond that. We extended GFS and ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. And have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video. Over the next 4 weeks, that'll take us into the middle of January. We just released a 23rd Christmas update. We're virtually at the end of Christmas updates now. What a season of Christmas updates it has been. And we actually have a cold Christmas this year to forecast. So it's been years and years and years since we've had a cold Christmas forecast. In fact, I don't think we've had a cold Christmas actually since we've done GavsWeatherVids back in 2012 when we started the original YouTube channel on the website. So I think it's the very first cold Christmas that we have had, and very, very exciting developments. The weather gods have been very, very kind this Christmas. And so, yeah, check out 23rd Christmas update anyway, and you know, have a look at that. And it's a pretty interesting watch. It looks like it'll be cold right way from Christmas all the way up to the new year, which we haven't had for years and years and years. So have a look at 23rd Christmas update. When you're done with this one, we're going to be live streaming from 6 o'clock tonight. We're going to try to ping down the snow potential around the Christmas period. So kind of like a live streamed snow watch, perhaps. And we'll have a look at 12Z as well. And we'll generally just have a bit of a chat and see how we're all doing just a couple of days before Christmas. And that's going to be from 6 o'clock tonight, between 6 and 7 o'clock tonight. We shall have a live stream, as long as I don't get a migraine again. And so I shall keep you all posted about that, of course. Right, so we're going to begin this video in the stratosphere. So this is how temperatures are currently looking at, let's just flip this over to 10 HPA. So this is how temperatures are currently looking at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole versus like the average. So the grey line, of course, is the trend line. We're virtually at the coldest point of the year in terms of temperatures in the stratosphere over the Arctic and over the North Pole as well. But we are a little bit milder than average, a little bit warmer than average, actually, at 10 HPA. So that's where we currently are with the black line just there. It was cold on average back in November, so the stratosphere is cold on average then. But now the stratosphere is actually a little bit milder than average at 10 HPA, a little bit warmer than average. Not particularly so, really. It's just a couple of degrees above the long-term trend. You've already seen what's happening at 30 HPA as well. It's a little bit lower down towards the troposphere, but at 30 HPA, it also looks very close to average with the black line virtually reaching parity with the grey line. So current temperatures in the stratosphere, not overly dramatic, but it looks like we could have some quite dramatic developments on the way. So this is the latest temperature forecast for 10 HPA from the most recent GFS 6Z run. We've got those blue colours, those are the cold temperatures at 10 HPA in the stratosphere, of course. So as we run through, we keep those blue and purple colours over the top of the pole and the Arctic. So we keep these cold temperatures. In fact, they get a bit colder towards the Greenland side of the North Pole and the Arctic. But look at this warming stretching out all the way from Mediterranean right way up to Siberia, over towards the Pacific side of the Arctic. That's a massive area of warm temperatures at 10 HPA developing there as we go over and beyond the Christmas period. That looks very indicative of what we would classify as a sudden stratospheric warming. The GFS 6Z does sort of lift that to SSW levels as we get in towards the new year. This is 31st December. We've got those bright red colours there indicating that we really are having a very dramatic warming of stratosphere over Siberia towards the end of December. We run on into a more extended range, and we get this second warming developing right to the south of the pole as well. GFS has been playing around with this quite a bit over recent days through the Atlantic and into northern Europe as well. The upshot is that the polar vortex is really being stretched here, like an elastic band being stretched to breaking point over the Arctic, where we see that from the elongation of these blue colours, which remember remember, is like the polar vortex had its roots in the stratosphere. So some of the GFS runs have been playing around with like a split of the polar vortex. A couple of the runs yesterday were actually splitting and obliterating the polar vortex. This particular GFS run backed off that idea a little bit, but it continues to look very, very interesting stratosphere wise this winter. We will continue to keep a very close eye on it. So how the ECMWF is forecast things in the stratosphere. So help this from University of Berlin. Helpfully, we have the North Pole actually highlighted here by a black X, which is a little bit difficult to make out against the blue background, but it's just there. So this is the ECMWF 10 HPA temperature forecast, stratospheric temperature forecast. For like, when is this for? This is going to be for the 21st of December. So this is for today, actually, with those blue colours. Again, that's cold temperature at 10 HPA. As we go through to day 10, which is there, so this gets us to the 30th of December. We see we've got this big red area over Siberia, over Russia and Siberia. That is the big warming of the stratosphere taking place at 10 HPA over Russia and over Siberia, and beginning to move towards the North Pole, though the North Pole itself is still in those blue colours. But that, again, is more or less reaching sudden stratospheric warming levels where we've got those bright red colours. We can go a bit low down to 30 HPA. This is closer to the troposphere. That's the current situation at 30 HPA with those blue colours. Again, cold temperatures at 30 HPA. It's about average, actually, as we've already established. But in 10 days' time, so again, this is for the 30th of December, we've still got those cold temperatures at 10 HPA. But you see that we are getting some warming occurring around here. That's like the southern stratospheric warming that's taking place at 10 HPA, beginning to propagate down already towards the troposphere, towards 30 HPA over Siberia. So it continues to look really, really interesting from a stratospheric potential here, or from a stratospheric perspective here, and we'll continue to monitor what's going on, of course. We'll keep you updated over coming days. Right, this is how CT is currently looking. So central temperature is currently standing at 6.0, 6 degrees. That's 1.2 degrees above average. That's provisional to yesterday, to the 20th of December. This is going to start to move downwards over Christmas week, I think. So where this finishes up will be interesting to see. Probably going to finish up somewhere low to mid 5s, I would have thought. But we shall see. We're going to continue, we're going to continue to monitor what the CT is doing right way through 2 months. We have got cold weather on the way, as we've been talking about in the vids a lot over recent days. And of course, our Christmas update, 23rd Christmas update, also confirms this, and we confirm it again with the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University, with the ECMWF on the top and the GFS on the bottom. So, excuse me, so 500 millibars is now in atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by a jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue low pressure. You can see that with the ECM, we've got a trough of below average heights extending through the west of Europe along the dip in the jet stream. There's a ridge of above average heights pushing up through the North Atlantic towards Greenland. And, of course, we've got blocking in the Arctic and to our northeast as well. So the jet stream and the flow will be doing something a little bit like that. We're on the cold side of a jet, and we're about 12 low pressure. So not only will it be cold, there will be precipitation around, and some of that precipitation could well be wintering. Of course, we're going to try and firm up with Snowwatch, or our Snowwatch live stream, I suppose, between 6 and 7 o'clock, where wintering potential is. But that looks like it's going to be cold. You know, that's going to be cold through Christmas week. That gets us to day 10, which, of course, is New Year's Eve. It looks like we could have a cold New Year's Eve. Maybe our coldest New Year's Eve for many, many years on New Year's Day. Haven't had a cold New Year for a long, long time. But perhaps this is going to be the year. The GFS is virtually identical. So again, we've got blocking in the North Atlantic going up towards Greenland, extending over into the Arctic as well, with the trough of low pressure through the west of Europe. A jet stream is digging southwards as well on the cold side of the jet, with a trough of low pressure, cold and unsettled as we go to the new year. So cold, unsettled winds in from the north, northern blocking. Yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting if you like cold weather. The GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking like this. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for rugby. Looking at rugby today. So starting mild on average, got a couple more days of milder weather to go until Wednesday with above average temperatures. After that, we go through Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. It gets colder. And then it gets a little bit less cold on Boxing Day, but after that, looks like we're basically cold on average right way through to New Year, then with temperatures generally below average. Not suggesting like a big freeze here, not the sort of thing that's going to absolutely freeze everything up at the moment, but certainly cold enough to be wintry and certainly cold enough for snow. And just solidly below average, really. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much stronger. It can't get much stronger to be below average than that. You can clearly see, right at the very end, like in a couple of weeks' time, coming towards the end of the first week of January, we're still generally colder than average even then. Precipitation-wise, so there's going to be a lot of wet weather to come over the next 2 or 3 days with these milder temperatures and also associated with a drop in temperature on Wednesday through to Thursday. So, I mean, we may have some problems with flooding as we run up towards Christmas. I certainly wouldn't rule it out. We have some Christmas floods, and then that will be followed by colder weather as we go through Christmas week itself. Although it is colder, there is precipitation around after Christmas. Quite a few precipitation spikes, and as it's gone colder then, some of that could be rain, some of it could be snow. There will be, quite a variance between areas that get rain, areas that get snow, and we've got to try and work out where the snow and the rain divide is and where it's going to be. So all of that is to be determined. I don't relish, the period coming up for forecasters at the UK Met, but have got to work this out over Christmas. So they're going to have a very, very busy Christmas, I think, at UK Met Office, trying to work out who's going to get snow and who's going to get rain between Christmas and New Year. It's a very complex setup. But the overall idea is precipitation around and becoming colder, quite obviously. Temperature anomalies from the 21st to the 29th of December. Going to be colder than average for Scotland. Still, England and Wales just about hanging on to more than average temperature anomalies. When we get to around Wednesday, I would suspect these charts will be gone colder than average through all parts of not just the UK, but probably all parts of Northern and Western Europe, actually. Precipitation anomalies from the 21st to 29th of December. Going to be wetter than average for England and Wales. Near normal precipitation further north and west. This is the latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net showing that the west-southwests are still with us, so it's still mild and it's still unsettled. You see the northerlies are lurking, signs of what's to come lurking up here to the north of Iceland. At the moment, that is where those northerly winds will stay. But not for much longer. Those northerly winds will be pushing down across the west of Europe as we go to Christmas. At the moment, they're just being held off, but it won't be much longer before those northerly winds start to move south. That's how the UK Met Office looks for Christmas Eve. Low pressure is clearing away to our south and east. We're pulling in a cold northerly wind on Christmas Eve. This area of low pressure will bring outbreaks of rain. There could be something wintry on the back edge of that rain. So we do have to, try and firm up on this in our live streamed Snow Watch tonight. That low pressure will clear away as we go from Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. Pull down the northerly wind. So you're going to have a cold Christmas Day with winds in from the north. There's going to be frost early and late, especially for England and Wales. And a nice chilly seasonal Christmas Day. Boxing Day goes a little bit less cold, and then in comes this low pressure plunging in from the north, bringing initially rain and severe gale force winds, probably, and then behind that it'll start turning a lot colder, and we have to start thinking about where the snow is going to start falling as we go from 27th December up to the New Year. That's as far as we go for UK Met. This is how the GFS 6Z is looking. So again, we're pulling in the northeasterly winds on Christmas Eve. Going to be a cold Christmas Eve, probably our coldest Christmas Eve for 10 years. Cold Christmas Day as well, probably our coldest Christmas Day for 10 years as well. Our coldest Christmas Day since 2010, December to remember. So it's been a decade. Had a full decade of like mild Christmases overall. So here we go. 10 years we've waited for a cold Christmas, and here it is. Having said that, let's just keep in mind it is not going to be anywhere near as severely cold as it was in 2010. We are not going to have snow laying deep, crisp and even across the whole country with temperatures into minus double digits and huge icicles hanging off everybody's roofs. It's not going to be that Dickensian Christmas, but it is going to be seasonable, and we've waited a long time for a seasonable Christmas. So if you wanted a nice chilly, crunchy Christmas morning with frost on the ground, then enjoy it, because you're going to get it this year. Boxing Day is a little bit less cold, a little bit milder, with winds in from the west and from the northwest, but then the low pressure comes plunging in on Sunday 27th December. That will bring cold air in with it as that low pressure slips to the south and the east. Wind gets pulled in from the north, so increasingly precipitation will turn wintry as we move up towards the new year with rain, sleet, snow. I would have thought the further on towards New Year we get, the greater the risk of snow rather than rain, as the air will be getting colder and colder as we pull these north to northeast winds into the country. That's New Year's Day, when we're bringing in an easterly wind, still looking cold and potentially wintering for the first day of 2021, and staying generally cold through the first week of January. We're building up a Scandinavian high here and pulling in the wind from the east. That little low there might bring some snow into southern eastern parts of the country, albeit it's 384 hours away, so it almost certainly won't verify, but just a suggestion that like even up to the end of the GFS 6Z, it is staying cold. This looks like quite a prolonged cold spell that is setting up. Remember, in the winter forecast, in GavsWeatherVids winter forecast, we'll discuss in the live stream, GavsWeatherVids winter forecast suggested that New Year was a critical period for this Christmas. And I said, we'll discuss that more in our live stream at 6 o'clock. GM looks like that again. Winds are in from the northeast, from the northeast on Christmas Eve, so it will be quite cold. Christmas Day will also be quite cold, a little bit milder Boxing Day. Then the low pressure plunges in from the north as we go beyond Christmas in towards the Christmas New Year period. So northerly winds cold with an increase in risk of snow between Christmas and the New Year. And we get to day 10, we're still cold with a GM. Winds remaining from a northerly direction. ECM looks like that. So again, Christmas Eve is shaping up to be cold this year, as is Christmas Day. Low pressure pulls out into the Atlantic. We drop low pressure in from the north on Boxing Day through to 27th December. That will bring heavy rain gales initially. Then as the cold northern winds dig in, more of the precipitation could turn to snow. ECM is interesting just here. This is 29th of December with some sort of feature plunging in from Iceland. Very, very interesting. Something's plunging in from Iceland there on the 29th of December. That could bring a more persistent area of snow with it potentially. And we stay cold right way up to day 10, which is New Year's Eve, with winds continue to be from the north. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. So, of course, initially we're just going to be seeing rain coming and going. We're going to have plenty of rain over the next couple of days. Some of it turns to snow on the northern edge by Wednesday across parts of North Wales and northern England. Possibly the North Midlands as well. Stays wet in the south even through to the early hours of Christmas Eve, and then that all gets out of the way. We've got wintry showers running down the east coast. We really need to look at the high res to see what the wintry shower potential is for Christmas Eve, I think. Then we're back to rain, so we have a cold but mainly dry day Christmas Day. Then we're back to rain on Boxing Day, but some of it is already starting to turn to snow across Scotland. And then as we go between Christmas and the New Year, we bring in those cold northerly winds, and the precipitation goes primarily to snow. There's an area of snow on that diving low on the 29th of December that's pushing in from Northern Ireland into England and Wales. A real snow event there for like Wales and southwest England. How interesting is that? And low pressure clears the way to the south, and we're left with like more wintry showers piling in on those northerly winds. Very, very interesting ECM run. These are options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to New Year's Eve. We have 13 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure over top of the country, combined with the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and Northern Blocking. We're going to be cold and unsettled with those. 11, let's change the colour. 11, have the Mid-Atlantic Ridge back to Northern Blocking. Low pressures to our south. We're bringing cold east or northerly winds with that one. 10, with high pressure way to our northwest, low pressure to our southeast winds again in from the northeast. 9, with the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, along with low pressure to our east. That's going to be cold and potentially quite wintry. 8, with low pressure to the north. That's perhaps a little bit milder, slightly more westerly component to wind with that one. Although still even that one has a Mid-Atlantic Ridge heading up towards Greenland. In 2 weeks' time, this is the option that we've got. Look at this. This is for the 5th of January. 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles in 2 weeks having a Mid-Atlantic Ridge combined to very extreme northern blocking in the northern latitudes, with low pressure still over and to the south of the country, would still be bringing in the wind from the east or the northeast, so it would still therefore be cold and potentially wintry. Even in 2 weeks' time, ECM ensembles, all members of the ECM ensembles are looking cold and wintry. This is a prolonged cold spell that is setting up here, folks. This is a prolonged cold spell that is beginning over Christmas. Wow. Right, 500 millibar height anomalies. Lastly, from the CFSB2. Broke down to week periods. So first week period takes from 20th, 26th of December. Coming week we'll have high pressure out to our west, low pressure to our east. Winds will be coming in from a north to northwesterly direction. Week 2 is going to be the 27th of December to the 2nd of January, with high pressure ridging from the Atlantic up to northern blocking. Winds are probably coming in from like an easterly direction. With that, I would have thought should be cold. Week 3 is going to be the 3rd to the 9th of January, with low pressure extending through the west of Europe. There's high pressure up towards the northeast and in the middle of the Atlantic. On the cold side of the jet stream, that could be cold and wintry for the first week of January. And then week 4 looks like this. It's the 10th to the 16th of January, with low pressure over country. That's a little bit milder there as winds go back into more of a westerly. But of course, that's 4 weeks away. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, please can you click like, make sure you're subscribed to our channel, and you'll be able to see future weather content if you do that. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids and your family members too. Get them to subscribe, and we're going to get to 9k subs, hopefully, in the new year. Right, I was ready to do this video today. I'm feeling a lot better today, so I'm much more up for this one. I hope you've noticed. I'll see you on the live stream at 6. Don't forget to check out the Christmas update. But for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.